Okay, I've decided to do a video to address some of the comments, but it's more to address the dynamic of the comments, and you'll see why. It's for the video which is part one. This is part two of it. It's comparing the incidents in Austria 2024 with Abu Dhabi 2021, where a car is forced off the track and how it is spoken about. So the first video is only 6 and a bit minutes long. So the comments to that video, they're all there for you to see. I'm just going to go through them. Now, if you are a content creator, then obviously I used to get notified for each comment that was being made on my videos. My phone was just pinging all the time. I've had to switch that off because it just gets in the way of life. So I will come onto my channel and I'll go through the comments and have a look, and I'll try and acknowledge the comments to people, to thank people for their words, their support, and there's some quality people on here that really add some great insight. On the flip side of that, there's some turds of human beings that come here to troll, and they come here to tell us what they think, and yet they are retarded. Okay, now we live in a world whereby people are encouraged to believe that they are entitled to their opinion. Okay, they're entitled to think what they think, and they're entitled to believe what they believe. Well, that's stupid. Okay, you're not entitled to think what you think. You're entitled to be told the truth. Okay, you're entitled to have the information presented to you that's real. Now, if you are unwilling to accept the validity of that information, that's a personal failing on your part. If your desires are what drive you, and therefore you will reject what is the truth, you will reject what your lying eyes are seeing, because you want to skew the situation around to always validate what it is you want it to be, then you have a disorder. You have a personality disorder. There is a problem with you. Okay, now do the research. Go on, go look at personality disorders on the internet, on YouTube. It will reveal some character traits that you are likely to have. You will not be able to admit that you have those traits because of the personality disorder that you have. You lack the ability to self-analyze. It's a futile exercise, but I'm just telling you that if you can't acknowledge your failings, you have a personality disorder. If you cannot acknowledge the truth that is being presented, you have a personality disorder. This is reflected in the comments that you make. So, number one, you are a problem. Number two, your problem is fueled and exacerbated by the fact that you are fed false information that feed your false beliefs. They condition your beliefs. They feed you what you want. Okay, these fluff channels on YouTube feed you what you want. You believe them because you want it to be true. Those ones that tell you just how great Max Verstappen is. Oh yeah, Max is great. Oh yeah, I really like hearing that. They're telling the truth. I like them when they say Max is the greatest ever. They're telling the truth when they're telling me that Max is the greatest. That's how you connect. That's how the circuits work in your brain. You don't have the ability to say, okay, who is good in the sport of motorsport? What constitutes a great driver? Well, what do the statistics reflect? What have I seen? What do I admire about driving? What demonstrates that a driver has true skill? You don't do that. You just like one guy. Oh, I really like him. I like what he does. Someone says he's the best. That's right. That's the extent of your ability to analyze situations. And when you try to analyze, you can't pick out where you're going wrong. So let me go through some of these comments, because a couple of them are absolutely brilliant, and there's a couple I'm going to just dismantle. So here we go. That dive bomb by Max in Abu Dhabi 2021 was disgraceful. Either taking Lewis out or forcing himself into the first position without any morals, and that's a disgrace. And that has received the highest amount of interactions, 19 likes, because it's absolutely true. Okay, we saw that Max was willing to take Lewis out at Brazil, he was willing to take Lewis out at Saudi, and he was willing to take Lewis out at Abu Dhabi. That's just disgusting. Willing to crash the other car out of the race to win the championship. Schumacher got disqualified from an entire season for doing the same thing. Once. Max did it at least 3 times. Max did it 3 times. At least. Lewis kept resisting by avoiding the collision. That's not how they did it in the olden times. Prost v Senna, Schumi v Hill. What the fuck are you talking about, mate? So this is a strap-on fanboy that's going, oh, Lewis kept resisting by avoiding the collision. That's not how they did it in the olden times. Was Prost v Senna okay? Was Schumacher v Hill okay? So you're saying Lewis should have just been the same and been the victim of being crashed out of the race? So yeah, Lewis was the person that kept that championship battle alive by being so good, so much better than all those in history, that he managed to get out of the way. He saw those challenges coming and he got out of the way of them and still won the races. That's the level of genius that competitor has. You don't understand that, do you? You don't realise just how good that is. So when you compare Lewis Hamilton to the greats of the past, right, they got crashed out of races. Hamilton had to contend with a guy that was trying to crash him out of races and still overcame him. That's the level of Lewis Hamilton. Next one. Lewis girls are beyond hope. Lewis girls, do you when you refer to somebody as a girl, is that derogatory? Is it? is that what you're saying? Oh, Lewis girls are beyond hope. Is that the best you can do? You think that's being derogatory? You think that the quality of an individual, if you're a boy, then you're far superior to being a girl, are you? Is that how you treat your sons and your daughters? Your sons are better than your daughters, are they? Yeah? You've got a mum. Is your dad better than your mum? Yeah? Or, is your own sister, like, has she got no worth, no quality? No? Lewis girls are beyond hope. Is that how you treat other people in this world? Evidently so. Okay? Don't be a donut all your life. Lewis knew where Max was at the apex and knew he was being passed and could have easily turned back onto the track behind Max, but being desperate and a born cheat, Lewis is a born cheat, is he? He opted for the straight through the chicane and gained 2 miles on everyone. 2 miles. Now that is a fast Mercedes. And he emerged from that situation with apparently a 1.2 second lead. Now, to cover 2 miles in 1.2 seconds, that is a fucking fast Mercedes. But thank you for your valuable insight there. Lewis knew if he joined behind Max that Checo would take him down the next straight as well, as his corner was messed up. Blaming Max for being a far superior driver is pathetic. Well, where do you start with comments like that? Lewis knew that he was being passed and could have easily turned back onto the... So Lewis, right, to avoid being crashed into, Lewis had to do an emergency stop, put the full brakes on, wait for Max's car to force its way through, wait for that to happen, and then set off again behind it. That's okay, is it? Oh, that's just hard racing. That's what you believe. That's what you've been conditioned to believe. That's what you like because it results in Max being allowed to get ahead. That's not within the rules of the sport, but those rules of the sport haven't been explained to you because what they've been done, they've been skewed to present Max Verstappen's driving to be okay, for that to be fine. But you like that. You like what you see. You like the outcome that you wanted to happen, and therefore that serves as validation. You don't have the ability to determine validity for yourself. You have a personality disorder. 3 people like that. 3 thumbs up. See, this is the value of social media. You can find validation. You can find like-minded individuals that like your opinion. Doesn't mean your opinion is right. Oh, I got 3 people to like what I said, so therefore it must be valid. Doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. But this is how they, and this is the media, this is how the creators of the dynamics of society want it to be. Will determine what is right and wrong by what is popular or not. No, that's not the determination of what is right or wrong. Let's not go to people's narcissistic desires, okay? Let's not go to what people want. Let's have clear parameters of what is acceptable and what isn't. Because these narcissists, they can't turn it around and say, okay, if that was to happen to me, would I like it? Would that be acceptable? Okay, so some of you, let's make it nice and easy for you. Okay, somebody's got a nice fancy brand watch, you know, the type that you see on Formula One. You know, somebody's paid £5,000 for a Rolex watch, right? You'd like one of them. You'd like one of them. So you'd like one so much, you've got such a desire for having one of them, you think that, oh, let's just go and take it from them. Okay, and you know, if you make a funny film about it that gets lots of likes, then that's all good, isn't it? Yeah, not a problem. Haha, it's funny. Yeah, we all like that one. Leave a laughing face emoji. Yeah, that's fine. Right, would you like it if that happened to you? If you had gone out to work, earned the money, saved up, okay, over a long period of time, and then gone and treated yourself and spent £5,000 on an item that you had aspired to, and somebody just came along and took that from you, stolen it from you, would you like that? No, you wouldn't. Now, we'll obviously have the people in the comments section to go, oh, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I'd be fine with it. I'd be fine. Right. Because you have to argue all the time. You can't accept validity to a point. You have to counter argue because that is who you are. That's your personality disorder. You wouldn't like it. It's a crime against you. It's not acceptable. Hence, it's not about likes. It's not about laughing face emojis. It's not about what you find entertaining. It is about what is right and what is wrong. And yet you people, okay, and I'm talking to the strap-on fanboy, the generic term for the brain-dead condition, radicalised twats that we see in the comment section of Formula One, the strap-on fanboy. If that description fits you, that's what you are, okay? You don't have the ability to put yourself in the reverse of that situation and say, if that happened to me, would I be okay with it? And the answer is no, you wouldn't be okay with it. It's not acceptable. Nobody should have to contend with that. And yet when your driver, when your boy is the man that's perpetrating that, it's all good and everybody else is the one that's got the problem. Everybody else is the one with the bias. Everybody else is the one, oh, that's British bias. Oh, you're just a Lulu fanboy. Oh, it's the Brits again. Oh, it's the cult Hamilton fans. Yeah, yeah. That's what you want to project as being the problem. You're the problem. You're the one with the personality disorder. You're the one with the radicalized minds. Lewis girls are beyond hope. That's this guy here. That's this guy. That's how he uses terms like that to depict, you know, to use gender as a derogatory term. Strange. Thanks, James, for your work. No, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. I don't do this often enough in terms of thanking people that are supportive, thanking the quality people with integrity, with morality, with the sorts of levels of intelligence that contribute to what it is I'm seeking to do, what we are seeking to do. We'll stand together and we will do this. But thank you. And this is the first of many thanks to many people. 100% man. Thank you again for your support. Okay, this one's nice. According to Sky pundits, all of the drivers must be extra careful when attacking or defending Verstappen because of his driving style, right? Why? Exactly. Why? Why should anyone else take specific actions to avoid a crash with Verstappen when he's allowed to continue the way he supposedly drives? Okay, because it's not proper driving. That's being a stock car racer. I saw the stock car racing comment on a different videos. Exactly right. Max Verstappen is a stock car racer. Okay. Button was even more specific about this, and of course, they all agreed that Max should never change because it's part of the excitement and racing. Let them race. Yeah, let them. But let them all race in the same manner, not an exception for one. So they label Verstappen's driving as, oh, that's just hard racing. Max is a real racer. Max is a hard racer. It's elbows out. It's argy-bargy. It's on the limit. It's aggressive. That's all. This is how they eulogise Max Verstappen's driving. Let's translate this to the sport of boxing. See, boxing, a sport where boxers are allowed to hit each other. That's kind of what you do in that sport. There are still rules. One of them rules is you're not allowed to hit your opponent below the belt. You're not allowed to punch them in the groin, right? You're not allowed to do that. Now, if one of the boxers is continually doing such a thing, what do you think the sport is going to do? Do you think the commentators are going to say, oh, yeah, he's on the limit, this guy. He's just hard boxing. Yeah, all the other guys know what they're up against when they come against him. It's hard boxing, but he's a real boxer. He's a real racer. Yeah, he's a real racer. Oh, real racer. No, the guy's a cunt. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. And what would happen is he would get deducted points in the contest. He would get disqualified from the contest. You wouldn't get the fluffers validating that conduct. That's what you get in Formula One. Get that through your heads. In every sport, I made a video about this a couple of videos ago. In every sport, you do not get commentators validating malconduct of competitors of sport. In Formula One, you do. They justify Max Verstappen. They give a platform for Christian Horner to tell you all, oh, but that's what you're going to get when you come up against Max Verstappen. He's a real racer. He's a hard racer. It's just hard racing. And you all want to see hard racing, don't you? Yeah, because Max is a real racer. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. It's filthy. It needs to be punished. Next one. Shows exactly how flawed the driver sending the dive bomb stayed on track, so that's fine argument is. Exactly. You drive another car off the track, you get a penalty, right? It's called crowding another driver off the track. So in Austria, that move by Norris was crowding Verstappen off the track. All right. The day before in the sprint race, Hulkenberg got a 10-second penalty and 2 points on his licence. Watch the second part of that two-part video. It's 57 minutes long. Verstappen should have got a 10-second penalty in Abu Dhabi for that move that he put in on lap 1. For 8 laps. The sport can't identify that. They'll vilify Lewis Hamilton 8 laps of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix went by where they talked about nothing else but, oh, Hamilton should get a penalty. Hamilton should get a penalty. Hamilton should get a penalty. Whoa, 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 whoa. Your boy has just crowded him off the track. That's the offence. Oh, we've decided, the FIA have decided no further action required. Giving the slant that, oh, they're not going to penalise Lewis Hamilton in that situation. How about, why are you not penalising Max Verstappen? Who's ever said anything about that? Watch the video. Listen to what's being said. It's disgusting. Let's see what the replies are. Oh, I'm not even going to waste my time. I just ignore those ones. So Denny D obliterates these fools that come in the comment section. Okay, so it's laughable. It's like he's just toying with them. So, right, it's a lie for 2 reasons. That was not an overtake because the move was not completed. And in case you're blind, I must remind you, he crowded his opponent off the track. So, no overtake. There you go. You have, for it to be a complete overtake, you have to complete the overtake in a legal manner. That's not a completed manoeuvre, is it, if you forced another car off the track? The botched overtake move unfolded from a late dive bomb in the braking zone. And that's not the way Hamilton rolls. He uses his racecraft intelligently to punish someone hanging in on the outside, like Rosberg did at the start of the COTA 2015 Grand Prix. This reveals your lack of F1 knowledge, as there are 2 variations of crowding off track. One is the direct result of the dive bomb, and the other occurs when 2 cars are racing side by side entering a corner. When the driver on the inside doesn't leave the other any space, crowding the other car off the track. This was never a trademark of Hamilton's. So there you have it. Debunked again. I would retire from writing comments on F1 topics if I were you, because you have no idea how F1 works, son. And that's Denny D being nice to him. That is him being nice to him. So these clowns, they want to tell us what they think in the comment section. And there's just people that know more. Know a lot more. Thank you again, Denny D. There's no point in us wasting our time with that clown. This one. The problem is Lewis races with class and inside the rules, while Max is handheld to some victories. Absolutely. Next year has nothing to lose. If I'm Max or any other Formula One driver, I'd be worried that Lewis in Ferrari will show you why he's the greatest. Well, we can only hope. I don't want to make any predictions about this because I remember back to the end of the 2021 season and I was outraged by the injustice. And we got so many fluffers, and I'm talking about just regular human beings, that would jump up in the comments section with all super positivity and they go, oh, whilst I think Abu Dhabi, I'm a Lewis Hamilton fan, and whilst I think Abu Dhabi was wrong, I think we all need to move on now because we should get behind Lewis for the 2022 season with positivity and love, and we'll just we'll make sure that we support Lewis so that he wins 2022. Right, that's what I saw all the time on Facebook, and I was thinking, you're brain dead. And the reason you're brain dead is you're not tackling the injustice, and there's no guarantees that you're going to be competitive year on year on year on. It doesn't work that way. If the team that you're driving for hasn't developed a competitive machine, then your chance of winning is almost nil. And we saw that in 2022. And there's no guarantees that Ferrari are going to produce a championship winning car in 2026 or 2025 even. We don't know that. We don't know that. Obviously, we've got the new regulations coming out. We don't know which of the teams is far ahead on them. Red Bull got the jump on everybody for 2022. They spent more money. We don't know whether that car, we know it was illegal in terms of over budget. We know that already that car was illegal on the grounds of that. We will never find out whether the actual technicalities of that car were illegal. I highly suspect that they were. All of the other cars on that grid for the first half of 2022 were porpoising. They were bouncing up and down, shaking their shit out of each of them drivers. Not so much the Red Bull. Oh, that's down to Adrian Newey's genius, is it? Just Adrian Newey has that genius, and yet the 9 other design teams, they couldn't solve the problem. They were porpoising. So you've got effectively other geniuses, but they can't solve the problem, but Red Bull can. How are you doing it, Red Bull? And then the FIA want to introduce this anti-porpoising measures. Don't you remember? And what we'll do, we'll introduce these, but we'll give you, Red Bull, 4 more races before that you have to comply with these. There were the rumours going around about Red Bull and Ferrari having flexible planks on their cars. Planks under the cars designed to flex, designed to deviate. Well, that's a cheat. They tell you, oh, that's a loophole. Oh, Red Bull have discovered a loophole. It's not a loophole if that's what it did. It's a cheat. And the reason it's a cheat is a clear parameter of a Formula One car is that you can't design parts to move in terms of the bodywork. The only parts of the bodywork that are allowed to move are the wing mirrors. You're allowed to adjust the position of the wing mirrors, and the DRS flap, which is activated mechanically. That's allowed to move. Otherwise, if the rest of it's allowed to move within certain parameters, but that being, you can't have totally rigid material that will not deflect. The weight of that would be far too much for a Formula One car. So as the speed increases and the forces of drag, air resistance increases, it's going to cause that body to deflect, but it's not allowed to deflect beyond certain parameters. 2021, we saw the Red Bull flexing a lot. They purposefully designed it to flex a lot. Essentially, that's active aerodynamics. As that car goes faster, the shape of that car changes, reducing the amount of drag that car is creating, allowing it to go faster. That was done by design. That was done by using materials which performed in that manner. That's the truth of it. Okay, they'll go, yeah, but they passed the test. Yeah, well, they did. A static test conducted where they probably hung weights off a wing, right? And it deflected within the set parameters. Fine. But as the load increases, well, it's deflecting more than the other cars. That was changing the shape of that car. That was reducing its drag. That's not what the underlying principle of the regulations is. That's not supposed to be happening. Oh, nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. So if you design a part of your car to move, you're breaking that rule. Oh, yeah, Red Bull have found a loophole. They've got these slider pucks under the car and they pop up into recesses underneath the car. So if that car's bouncing, you've got these things damping that bouncing action because they're springing up into the car. They've got this plank which flexes and bends as it hits the ground. Oh, it's not allowed to do that. Oh, but Red Bull and their design genius have found a loophole. We will never get told this, and why we will never get told this is the FIA are not going to call out Red Bull for cheating or wrongdoing. That information will be hidden from us. So, you know, these are the things, these are the dynamics of the sport, but people don't even think about it like that. They'll believe oh, it's a loophole. Oh, they must have found a way where legally that's allowable. No, no, no. That is what you need to understand about the notion of legally, right? There's law, and that's the difference between right and wrong. And there's legal, which is cunts, okay, that will take money to argue for something. All right? And they'll take money to present an argument as to why something that is wrong can be accepted and therefore evade consequence for it. That's legal. That's the difference between law, which is the clear difference between right and wrong, and legal. All right? Legal consists of mercenary cunts. Okay? As you go through life, you might encounter this and you might then realize the truth of that statement. So, next one. It's difficult to convince the hypnotised and drugged of the real truth. That is indeed only true. That is indeed only true. Somebody responded to that. If it's a Dolph comment, oh, here we go. Because this is another clown boy. Okay. Even if these examples were identical, they are not, as I posted above. This just proves that F1 judges are wildly inconsistent, and that's factual already. Also, F1 still thinks it's a good thing to keep switching around the stewards at every Grand Prix, so people judging Austria are not the same at the next Grand Prix. So what you're saying is, right, the examples aren't identical. Well, you're never going to get two things that are identical, but they are comparable. As I stated, they are comparable, right? It just proves that they're inconsistent, right? Okay, yeah, they're inconsistent, and that's what the videos are demonstrating, that they're inconsistent. Who's the beneficiary? Well, the beneficiary is Max Verstappen at one, okay, and the beneficiary is Max Verstappen at the other. You know what I mean? But the thing is, well, you'll argue, oh, Lewis Hamilton's the beneficiary. Well, Lewis Hamilton has been crowded off the track. Shouldn't have to lose a position because of that. But you're all wanting him to be having to give that position back. You're all wanting him to have to concede position. And yet, when Max is actually the one that's crowded off the track, there's no calling from you for Max to have to give that position back, is there? Who's inconsistent? Oh, that would be you. Yeah, that would be you. You will have quite an easy time finding contradictory incidents for Verstappen too. Okay, give us the examples. Like literally Sainz doing the same Max did to Lando that got punished in the same corner versus Max. This gets pulled up by fanatics on Max his side. You will always find contradiction in F1, judging for any driver on the grid for all incidents. The mistake is to assign all this extra stuff to the cause when you go into delusional territory. You know, you want to bring comments here that say delusional. By saying somebody's delusional, you seek to discredit and undermine them. That is your motive. You want to discredit and undermine me. You will not accept that I am presenting something and exposing that, hang on a minute, I'm the one that told you that Lando Norris is in the wrong for doing that dive bomb. He forced your favourite, Max Verstappen, off the track. Lando Norris was guilty of crowding Max Verstappen off the track. Max Verstappen then remained in the lead. You weren't calling for, oh, Max has got to give that place back. When that happened at Abu Dhabi, you were calling for that. Oh, Lewis has got to give that place back. That's an inconsistency. You can't recognise that. Instead, you come here and post these comments about delusional territory. And you want to also then bring into this counter argument as well of saying, well, Carlos Sainz did to Max Verstappen what Verstappen did to Norris. Well, okay, what Verstappen did there, he did what Lewis Hamilton did all 2021 season, was he moved left, or he moved out the way to avoid getting hit. Should he have to? No, he shouldn't have to. Should they have penalised that? Yes. But they didn't penalise Max for it during 2021, did they? Oh, let them race. Let them race. We want to let Max win. So let Max try and force him off the track when he can. That's what let them race means. But you won't like that. We've got some fool say, oh yeah, those were the rules in 2021. They've changed the rules now. So they just introduced those new rules for that season, did they? They changed what we all know to be acceptable and what's true in Formula One just for that one season. Crazy shit. But indoctrinated boy here, personality disorder boy here, okay, somebody that can't see truth boy here, he tells us what he thinks in the comments section. Max started with dive bombing in 2017 and the media presented it as hard racing. There you go. Yeah, oh, this lad, he likes to punch below the belt, but he's a real boxer. He's a real hard man, aren't you? Yeah, a real fucking hard man. Yeah, you know what you are. And in the meantime, they said the other drivers should accept this change in racing. Yeah, all the other boxers just need to accept that this guy's going to come and punch them in the spuds. That's acceptable, isn't it? Yeah, all the other boxers have got to deal with that. Because this guy's really hard and he's going to box you really hard. Or is it down to the sport to stamp that out and ban somebody that wants to come into the sport and cheat to try and win? Yeah, that's what you do. You stamp that out. Somebody that's got no respect for their opponents, no dignity, no class. They're a turd of a human being. They're scum. And the media's going, oh, yeah, this is the best you've ever seen. Look at this guy. He's really incredible. He's really hard. He's a real racer. Unbelievable. As far as I know, no driver in history of it has ever changed the entire concept of racing. But Max Mascotta from the FIA is allowed, but not for long. Absolutely right. Absolutely right there. Let's not waste our time on that one. To be factual, dive bombing was the thing from Red Bull Young Drivers Academy. They all did it, and that's absolutely true. It's a Red Bull thing. Okay, the only one that perfected the move was the Honey Badger, and that's how he got his name. And it's true, Ricciardo managed to do it in a way where he could make it stick because he has better braking control. Okay, he manages to get that thing to stop and get it around the corner much better than anybody else that's tried that kind of manoeuvre. So he made that kind of manoeuvre work within the parameters, within the rules. Okay, but Max doesn't, and the rest of them, they tried it, they just crash. Check the blatant double standards of the FIA in Abu Dhabi 2021. Verstappen's dive bomb at T6 was deemed illegal. A year later, at the same event, that one at 2021 was deemed illegal. A year later, at the same event, Sainz, a Red Bull graduate, pulls the same dive bomb move at T6 on Hamilton. Hamilton, avoiding a collision, goes off track, keeping his position. Sainz then complains on the radio that Hamilton should return the position that Sainz himself had not correctly earned. The stewards made a wrong decision in penalising Hamilton by deliberately sending the wrong message to the crazies, leaving the impression that in Abu Dhabi 2021 Verstappen's dive bomb was legal. Also, the crowding off the track was as well. That's how much corrupt the FIA was and always will be. Well, there you go. I've not seen that comment, but it's absolutely right. You know, this is, we can see it. Oh, apparently we'll now be cult Hamilton fans for identifying facts. I really have no more words for you. This has nothing to do with Hamilton. If I've said since 2017, do I need to write you in which races he didn't start with Hamilton against? So this is replying to Dolph. But against Ferrari, Vettel and Kimi, and finally, the most important thing, Vettel is the only legal deserved champion from Red Bull, and you still believe that Max is the best, according to which he is the best if we look at the statistics. Regardless of how old he started, in his first year he did not achieve a single victory or a single podium in Toro Rosso, but Vettel did. Then in the second year in Red Bull, Vettel became champion. Max didn't even in 5 years. That's why Red Bull did not want any other team, did what no other team in history has done. Manipulation, lies, breaking the rules to get their title. That's the difference between a real champion and mascot Max. Let's obliterate these fools. Okay, so this is a strange comment, and it's been written twice. It's a public school boy sport with a commoner winning, taking no prisoners, and we are loving it. Right, so It's a public schoolboy sport. Yes, it's the sport of the rich. It's billionaires paying for their son to be presented as one of the best 20 in the world at something. Look at my son. He's the best in the world because I've paid for him to be presented as such. And we've got a commoner winning it, taking no prisoners. Now, if you're talking about Lewis Hamilton being the commoner winning it, absolutely right. A guy that his daddy wasn't a billionaire. His dad had to go and work numerous jobs to afford to enable Lewis Hamilton to race. And yeah, he went on and has become an 8-time world champion, the all-time great of the sport. And we're loving that. If you are talking about Max Verstappen and thinking he's the commoner, because he is the one in terms of his driving style, if you validating that by calling that taking no prisoners, you think Max Verstappen is a commoner? Daddy is a Formula One driver. Daddy's got all the connections. If you're a Formula One driver, you come from a wealthy background more often than not. If your daddy was a Formula One driver, Daddy worked in a position where he would have been earning a Formula One driver's salary for all of those years. We don't know what it was back then, but now the minimum driver Formula One salary is over $1 million. And if you're earning over $1 million a year for your career of, let's say it's an 8-year career, well, there's £8 million you've got that you've supposedly earned. Well, how long would that take you to earn? If you got paid an average wage, how long is it going to take you to earn 8 million? Well, it'll take you 30 years to earn 1 million. So to earn 8 million, well, that's going to take you 240 years. You've got a working lifespan of about 40 years. So it's not happening, is it? Most of us will never even sniff 8 million. We'll never get anywhere near that. And you think that Max Verstappen's a commoner? People just don't understand. If that is what your point is, if you think that Max Verstappen is the commoner in this, you're wrong. Much needed video. Tired of Max fangirls rewriting history. I appreciate your comment. Let's not drop to their level, okay, by calling them fangirls. All right. So let's just rise above what it is that they want to use as derogatory terms. Hamilton, see again, this is the level of it. Let's rise above that. I mean, let's not determine the caliber of a human being by their gender, their race, their skin colour, their sexuality, their age. None of these are determining factors as to what constitutes a good human being. What constitutes a good human being is somebody who is reasonable and is decent. Now, I will get the comments that will say, well, oh, you're unreasonable. You use foul language that offends me. Well, ultimately, I have been reasonable. I can evidence that I've been reasonable. I can evidence that I've taken an approach in the past where I've tried to be reasonable. And by doing so, you just get ignored. You have a valid point to make. I am right about this. I am right. And those people that are perpetrating this ignore you. And so you have to fight. Sadly, when you fight, the rules, what are the rules to fighting? When you're fighting from a position where, let's look at what's going on over in Palestine at the moment. You've got the might of the Israeli armed forces being supplied with the latest technology of weaponry. And you've got people fighting for their lives with what? Oh, but you're expecting them to follow the rules. You're expecting them to follow the rules. You're expecting everyone to be nice and civil with each other. Really? Really? Is that the way it works? So I might say things, and I might say them in a manner that people don't like. It might jar a few people. But ultimately, the information that people need to understand, that the actual real facts of the matter that need to be exposed, that people need to hear, that people need to realise that they're being lied to, well, they don't get to hear that. Instead, what they get to hear is the lies. Because the liars are the one with all the power. They're the one with all the ability to condition the masses. They're the ones able to impact what people's beliefs are. And people are duped. People are blinded to the truth because they're fed the false narrative. And that's all they see. So how do you fight against that? Oh, you do so by being nice. Well, I've tried that. It doesn't get you anywhere. So you'll see where this goes. Anyway, next one. So this is another validator. Somebody here, I like Max Verstappen. In Abu Dhabi, Lewis took a shorter route, whilst in Austria, Max took a longer one. Okay. What happens with Max? Was Max able to go faster? By taking the wider line, was he able to maintain more speed in Austria? Evidently so. Yeah. By taking a wider sweep around that bend, he was able to maintain more momentum and therefore pick up quicker to maintain the lead. Okay, you don't want to acknowledge that. You want to say, oh, no, Max was disadvantaged because he took a longer route. Okay, it's not the distance covered, it's how much momentum you can maintain in your car. Okay, Lewis, his car was almost ground to a halt by the fact that where the line that he was travelling on, something came into it. Hamilton had to either brake or deviate his line to be pushed off track. Okay, if he'd have then had to try to go rejoin the track, yeah, he would have been so compromised that most likely Perez would have taken him, because the extra momentum that Perez would have had would have taken him past Hamilton as well. Because of a Max Verstappen dive bomb, it would have impacted Lewis's race to such an extent that that's what would have happened. So Hamilton cut the corner. Why on earth should you become disadvantaged because somebody has forced you off the track? No, I'm not allowing that. I'm just going to carry on across there and maintain the lead. That's what he did. You don't like that. You want to justify that by saying, oh, but Max took a longer route. Max maintained more momentum and was able to carry more speed. How do you think, okay, if Max took the longer route, how did he manage to get ahead? Oh, it's because, he went a longer route, but Max can do that because Max was able to pedal his car because Max is so good. That's the strength of Max Verstappen. Max is the best ever. That's why Max could do it. You think that, don't you? You think that. What a sausage. Here we go, the next one. And this is, again, brain dead. Brain dead. This is one of the most brain dead comments on here. The Hamilton love is quite high with this one. Again, looking to undermine by labelling people just Hamilton fanatics, yeah? This is what we get all the time. Don't forget, your main point is about two different time periods with two different rule sets. This is what they've convinced you of. This is a conditioning. You believe it was different in 2021. Why is that? Because you can't accept the truth. You've had that presented to validate what actually took place. You can't see for yourself that no, that's not really how it is. That's the whole show validating Max Verstappen to enable him. But you liked Max Verstappen being enabled, so you take this notion of, oh, yeah, but that was acceptable then because the rules were different then. No, the rules had never been different. Oh, they only introduced this notion of not being allowed to do that after Max Verstappen. Why was nobody driving like that? Or why was people getting penalised for doing that sort of thing before 2021? But not in 2021, just Max, right? But then now we're back to, oh, it's no longer allowed. Why in the history of the sport, right? was the only time. Oh, just Abu Dhabi 2021 did those safety car rules apply, but never before and never after. Oh, but it was just the interpretation. They've changed the rules now, but under those old rules, you could interpret them to be that way. Well, they never interpreted them that way for 198 Grand Prix. They did for just one, and then they had to change a word in the rules, and now it's all different, and they'll make sure that they never do it like that ever again. That's all valid, isn't it? Oh, yeah, we accept that. We accept that. No, you just won't accept that that's corruption. Oh, you can't prove that that's corruption. That's not evidence that it's corruption. This is the mindless cunts that you are. Validating mindless. Okay, that's what you are. It was a different set of rules. The first, where Max forces Lewis off the track but maintains his position on the track, was legal under the FAA rules at the time. No, it wasn't, mate. But you like that because that validates your desires, all right? But that wasn't legal. But the rules were changed because of that incident. No, the rules were never that. They just didn't enforce the rules to facilitate Max being able to do that, because they wanted Max to take it to Lewis Hamilton. They wanted to somehow allow someone to beat Lewis Hamilton, and that's the only way that they could do it. The FIA implemented the Max rule. Yeah, that was back in 2016 about dive bombing. Right, it's not the dive bombing, it was the double movement, the weaving in the braking zone. They introduced that. It was the Max rule. That if during a pass you force the person you're passing off the track to gain position, you're required to give the position back. That is the FAA rule in 2022. Moving forward. No, it's not. That was always the case. I think we've gone back to 2021, Austria 2021, and crowding off the track is an offence and it's penalised. Go back through my old videos, you'll see it. You'll see it. But Paul Williams thinks he knows and would like to share his valuable insight in the comments section. So this is the problem with the comment section. We've got people with opinions that think they know what they're talking about. And there's too many of you fuckers that have not got a clue. And yet you think you're entitled to tell us what you think. And you think that that carries equal validity to those of us who know what we're talking about. Oh, but I'm entitled to tell you what I think. Dolph thinks that that constitutes fact. Oh, but they're not my facts. They're not my facts. You won't agree with my facts, so you don't have any facts. You have your desire-driven opinions and your personality disorder. This one here. Right, this DCO 1019, he makes some reply which gets absolutely obliterated, and I think this could be the one. So Marvin Black here, right, makes a comment. I agree 100% with everything in this clip. It's the truth. I knew it in 2021 and I didn't let me brainwash, and I didn't let me brainwash. All season Verstappen drove over the limit. And as you already mentioned, Verstappen shouldn't even compete in Abu Dhabi 2021. When you look at the crashes Verstappen had before 2021, and then you look at everything Verstappen did in 2021, Verstappen should have been banned for at least one race. This guy still holds the record for creating crashes in every single season he's competed, right? So this DCO 1019, the Max Verstappen validator, strap-on fanboy, every single season, post the proof. Right. So this is the hold my beer moment from Marvin Blackheart. So post the proof. So Monaco 2015, Monaco 2016, Spa 2016. Start crash, an almost fatal crash on Kemmel Straight when Max changed direction too late and Kimi had to back off because Max didn't give him enough room. Budapest 2017 when Max shunted into teammate Ricciardo. Monza 2017, almost the same incident he had with Hamilton at Monza 2021. In 2017, he touched Massa and ended up with a puncture. You had Shanghai 2018 when Max dive bombs from nowhere to spin himself and Vettel. Sao Paulo 2018 when he didn't leave enough space for Ocon, even if he was a lap down. Baku 2018 moving under braking zone and Ricciardo couldn't avoid him anymore. The same happened in Silverstone 2019 with Vettel. In Portimao in 2020, Verstappen. Read more. There's only surely there can only be another line of this. You don't want to hit him too hard, do you, Marvin? Don't hit him too hard. Go easy on him. Read more. Oh shit! This guy is being obliterated. Right? This guy is being obliterated. Portimao 2020. Verstappen in typical outside manoeuvre when he doesn't leave enough space for Perez this time. Imola and Barcelona 2021 doesn't leave enough space at the start and pushing Hamilton from the track. Baku 2021 when he didn't make an earlier pit stop to have a puncture. Well, yeah, that's not an example of him causing a crash there, I guess. Silverstone when Max came wide at Woodcote and allowing Hamilton to catch up, having Hamilton almost side by side before turning in at Copse and going all in, even if Verstappen was by a small margin in first before Copse. Yeah, he's cut across the line of Hamilton. There was also a car at the inside, and even if Hamilton ran a bit wide, you don't do that, what Max does, without consequences. Hamilton even tried to brake to avoid the collision, but it's impossible with a guy having contact with different drivers in every season. Monza 2021, when Max tried an impossible overtake onto the sausage curb and wondered why Hamilton didn't let him have space when Hamilton this time was ahead. Why should Hamilton always back down? Because without halo, Verstappen would position his rear right tyre on top of Hamilton's head and helmet. You had Sao Paulo 2021 when Verstappen overshoot at turn 4 to cause them, both Hamilton and himself, leaving the track. In Jeddah, first Max screwed up in qualifying and overshoot to overtake Hamilton. And after the stewards told him to give Hamilton position back, he would stay in the middle and brake test Hamilton. If you need to give position back, you are obligated to slow the car down on either the left or the right side of the track and don't stay in the middle and slow down like a lunatic saboteur. At this point, Max should have been black flagged. That was on purpose. Abu Dhabi, Max lost the start, and thanks to the video, I don't have to explain about dive bomb pushing Hamilton back from the track. But what about Verstappen changing direction 5 or 6 times at the back straight after overtaking Hamilton? Clearly, it's a penalty. Sao Paulo 2022, when he wanted to overtake Russell from behind in turn 2, in causing him not to win. In Baku 2023, when Russell had the inside line, but again Max fails to avoid the collision. And now here we go again in Spielberg 2024, with moving in the braking zone. Oh, it's all gone quiet in the comment section from DCO 1019. It's all gone quiet. You've just been obliterated. We'll carry on. So, J. Ross, you're proving their lies with their own footage. And as I've replied there to J. Ross, I've done this many, many times and many of the videos have been blocked. I make a video, I evidence it, I prove the contradictions that this sport makes, and when I upload it, oh, this video is blocked. But we'll find a way of exposing it to the world at some point. So this DCO likes his comments. We've got a new Dolph, we've got a new Yerry, we've got a new, what are the other twats that come in and like to tell us what they think in the comments section. I'm bored of him. He's clearly of the same ilk. Clearly has this personality disorder. Basically described himself in the intro of the video. Don't play yourself, homie. Thank you for your valuable insight. As always, a twitchy, unnecessary reaction by Lewis when getting overtaken. Guy doesn't have a bit of finesse in his body in wheel to wheel. You're talking about Lewis Hamilton not having finesse in wheel to wheel. Calling Lewis's response twitchy. You know what? If you're up against somebody that's likely to crash into you, you ought to be a bit twitchy. You shouldn't have to be up against somebody that's willing to throw their car into you. But you like that. You think that that's acceptable. If you're a boxer and you're up against an opponent that is going to break the rules and try and hit you in the spuds, you'd be a bit mindful, wouldn't you? Oh, he's a bit twitchy. He's a bit scared that he's going to get hit in the spuds. No, you don't want that, do you? You shouldn't have to jump out the way of it. You shouldn't have to try and have to defend against such a punch. But you know that the bastard that you're up against is going to throw that punch. So what do? You box in a manner that you're mindful of trying to not get hit like that. You shouldn't have to do that. But the sports commentators are going, oh yeah, you have to do it in a way where you have to deal with that. You have to cope with that because this guy's a real hard man. He's a real racer. And that's where you have to cope with that. No, you don't. The sport has to deal with that. And they're not dealing with that. They're enabling that. That's the problem. But you like it. That's your favourite. You want that to happen because that's your desire. You don't have the ability to say, you know what? If somebody was crashing your driver off the track all of the time, if somebody was, when they went wheel to wheel with your favourite, Max, it ended up with in a collision, unless your driver jumped out of the way, you wouldn't like that. But you do like it when your favourite is the one that's acting like that. When your favourite is the one which is driving in a way which is, you move out the way, otherwise this is going to be a crash. Yeah, you like that. Somebody drives like that against your favourite, you don't like that. That's why we have rules. That's why we have conventions as to what is acceptable and what isn't. You won't admit to those rules. You won't admit to those conventions because when you do that and you reference Verstappen's actions in relation to the rules, it determines Verstappen's actions to be totally unacceptable. And you can't bring yourself to acknowledge that. That is your desire-driven motivation. That is your personality disorder. That's your problem. That's your problem. You won't be able to acknowledge that because you can't self-reflect. You cannot look at your own conduct, your own failings. You won't be able to say, is that true? Is it not? No, I can argue. No, you're wrong. I've dealt with people like you in the past. I've dealt with people with character traits such as you. You have a problem, a big problem. Anyway, so the geometry of the track. Oh, there's an extra. Oh, it's the geometry of the track. Right, every track is different. Every track has a different geometry. That means we change the rules as to how you go racing, does it? Nope. No, you still got the same principles. That's the way it works in sport, dickhead. Just because someone dive bombs you doesn't mean you can break the rules. If you can avoid it, which he could. No. You shouldn't have to contend with somebody running their car at you and you having to deviate your line. The offence is crowding the other car, forcing them to have to take evasive action. That is the offence, dickhead. It's nothing to do with, oh, but if the geometry of the track allows them to jump out of the way, then it's not a problem. No, the problem is you shouldn't be driving your car at the other car, dive bombing them, crowding them out of track room. It's no validation saying, yeah, but if the geometry of the track enables them to get out of the way, they should get out of the way. No, you don't understand that. You like Max Verstappen. That's all your comments say. Oh, I like Max Verstappen. Good for you, mate. Good for you. You admire somebody that's a cunt. What does that say about you? If the cap fits, wear it. The guy with the agenda makes another video. So this other strap-on fanboy thinks I've got an agenda. Yes, I have an agenda because I did reply to this. And I go on to YouTube and it won't show my reply. Weird. This is, there you go. It's popped up now. My agenda is to overturn a corrupt agenda. Do you have a problem with that? And now why is that showing 3 times? God knows what's happening with YouTube, because I didn't write that 3 times. Anyway, apparently just another butthurt Lulu fan. Get over it. So, a butthurt Lulu fan. This is the strap-on fanboy comment. Okay, the strap-on fanboy comment. Thank you for your valuable insight. 2 people like that. That's popular, so that must be right, yeah? It's a popularity contest now that determines right from wrong. That got 2 thumbs up. Well done, you. Silvio, whatever your name is, Silvio Tavares. Yeah, that got some likes, so that must be right. Yeah. Sausage. Is he telling the truth? Simple question, mate. Am I telling the truth? Do I evidence the truth? Okay. Attacking him as another butthurt Lulu fan indicates you've got no cogent response to his argument. Refute what he says. That would lend credibility to your comments, but you don't have any, do you? Right, and here, look at this one from this strap-on fanboy, Silvio Tavares. Seriously, every F1 coverage I've seen since last Austria Grand Prix has been trashing Verstappen. This guy must be high. Yeah, what incident are they talking about? They're talking about Max Verstappen crashing into Lando Norris, causing both cars to get a puncture, depriving Lando Norris of that race win. That's what those videos are talking about. What's this video talking about? This video is talking about Lando Norris doing the dive bomb on Verstappen. Can you not see the difference, Colin? Those videos which are trashing Verstappen are the ones whereby Verstappen moved into the space that Lando Norris's car was in and entitled to be in. That's where Max deservedly was being trashed. This video is saying Norris put in a dirty dive bomb, forcing Verstappen off track. And you are the one that thinks I'm high. Thank you for your valuable insight. Thank you for your valuable insight. Fucking retard. But we have to be polite. We have to be nice to these people. That's how we be reasonable in this world. Let's all be nice to one another. Well, you come here with your shit and you expect to be treated with respect. What respect have you shown me? Absolutely zero. You come here to try and undermine, to discredit with nothing. And what you're doing, you're conditioning like-minded, personality disorder, desire-driven, radicalised twats with your falsehoods. You've all been conditioned with those falsehoods by the media of this sport. That's damaging. I'm here telling the truth. You can't handle the truth. Simple as that. Just be truthful. They don't know. Umbrella, they don't know how to handle the truth. That's the sad thing about it. But it does hurt for them. And they're the ones that can't cope. They cannot cope. They've got no version of reality. Denny, apparently the butthurt ones are you guys who are more than willing to settle for manipulation, anything to make sure Hamilton would not become the ultimate GOAT of F1 by winning the Abu Dhabi 2021 race. You all know what happened wasn't right, but the results resonated well with you lot. A day of reckoning awaits you all. Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Simple. And this is that comment from earlier. A public schoolboy sport with a commoner winning, taking no prisoners, and we loving it. And like I say, if that relates to you believing that Max Verstappen is the commoner that's winning it because he drives in a way where he takes no prisoners, your delusions are yours and not mine, mate. Your delusions are yours. Daddy was a Formula One driver. Daddy would have earned Formula One driver salary for a long period of time. He's no commoner. Daddy's got connections. Daddy gets his son into the sport. So that's the comment section. I hope that you're able to realise why I don't respond to all these comments. I sometimes do it just to. I try to react with a heart to the decent comments, to thank people for their support, acknowledge and that I appreciate what people come here and say and contribute. Sometimes I just want to kind of respond to these dickheads in a manner which essentially tells them that they're a fucking dick. So occasionally I respond to them, but it's a waste of time because they'll still want to argue. They'll still want to come back, and there's no point in arguing with these fools. You'll be there all day arguing over something that you never convince them, because that's their mind. They will not be able to take any of your comments, okay, your counter comments, and say, yeah, actually, I've just read what you've just said, and actually, on reflection, you're right. They don't have that in them. They don't have that in them. That's the issue. Desire-driven motivation. They wanted something, they like it, and they won't accept whether it's right or wrong. Anyway, thanks for your time. Long one again, but had to be done. Cheers.